Good morning. Welcome everybody to Sunrise Stroll and Chat. Right we are, peeping over the Golan Heights. The sun is emerging. I did not plan to be in this spot this morning. I had two very different plans. And one of them was thrown off by an email from one of you guys telling me something amazing. I hope I'm not revealing too much private information here, but that'll depend now on the reactions of the writer. But somebody told me that they never knew the difference between dawn and sunrise until this past week with a series of dawn strolls and chats. And their preference is for the dawn. Well, because of that, there was such a beautiful dawn this morning, I decided I got to do an Instagram dawn. So I did that down here in Magdala. And I wanted to do a different one for you, but I saw a track that I thought I could take. And here I am. You remember yesterday we were at our cave, which is just right down here. Right there in the center of the screen. It's right there, just this side of that. Right under these bushes here. And then I pointed out yesterday that the neighbors had caves too. So here we are at the neighbor's cave. One of them. I don't think the second one is accessible from this point, but it's just around the corner here. It doesn't look like the thing I should do here on my own. So we're going to peep into the neighbor's cave now that the sun is coming up, but I really want to be way up further. And because of the sunrise, the dawn chat on Instagram, I figured, okay, I'd go on a horizontal down lower, but then I saw this opportunity to come up here, and I just said, well, I'll go for it and see what happens. And here I am, not quite there. I actually wanted to be up on top of this and not stay at the caves today. I thought a cave a week wouldn't be bad. But now you got 2 caves in 2 days. Hopefully, if I get there, because I still have, look at this thorny bushes. One of you wrote also commenting about the significance of thorns for you after Kathleen's presentation on the virtual pilgrimage. We're down to the last 6 days of 31 days of virtual pilgrimage, and it's going fantastic. It's amazing the blessings people are receiving. From thousands of miles away, a person called me yesterday to share the blessings that they're receiving through the pilgrimage. It's really marvelous. So look where we are. Look at this cave. It looks like it's much bigger than than our cave. The neighbors have a bigger cave than we do. But let's go in and see the neighbor's cave. We're going to miss the sunrise for a few minutes. Is that okay? I just wrapped around the cable here. There we go. Now I'm not sure if I'll go this way or I'll go around the back here. But the problem is, maybe we should just wait here and enjoy the sunrise a little bit more, and then we'll go and explore the cave, because if we go to the cave now, we'll miss this sunrise. Wow, look at that. I'm just holding out the phone here on a limb. You know, we have limbs, right? Our arm is a limb. So I'm going out on a limb. I don't want to lose my sticks up here, you know, it's pretty steep here. Look at that steep, that depth. People, this is where you are this morning at the Sea of Galilee. And you know what? The readings today give us tremendous depth. A feeling of depth. 2 different worlds, one looking at the other one. Now that's a small little bush hanging off the cliff, but it looks bigger than it is. And I can't even see the stem of it because my head can't lean out that far, otherwise you would go for a somersault down this hill. And I don't want you to do that because you might get hurt. I don't have a rock to rest the phone. So what do we do? I'll just hold it in my hand. And I'll take out these readings. The readings are really, really inspiring. At least that's the way I find them today. So we're still with Ephesians. It's such a rich, wonderful, inspiring text from 2,000 years ago that can be such a blessing for us to read it gently and slowly. Hey, look at this jogger down here. He's just coming into the screen now and he's going southward. Can you see him? There in front of that tree. Everybody following their pursuits. And that's what this letter is a little bit about. What pursuit are you following? So Ephesians says to us, chapter 4 we're in, be kind to one another, compassionate, forgiving one another as God has forgiven you in Christ. Be imitators of God as beloved children and live in love. As Christ loved us and handed himself over for us as a sacrificial offering, a fragrant aroma. And now we're looking down into the depths of a different way of life, from the height and the light that Paul has just penned on paper, on parchment, or digitalized on your little screen. So the other world is immorality or any impurity or greed must not even be mentioned among you. Imagine not even mentioning them. And you know, mention comes from the heart, because what's in the heart overflows through the mouth. So this stuff cannot be in our heart if we don't want to mention it. Immorality, impurity, any impurity, or greed must not even be mentioned by you, as is fitting among holy ones. No obscenity. Imagine the cleanup we'd need in our culture. This Friday there's going to be a wonderful day of cleanup. I understand it's worldwide. I just saw the announcement for the Sea of Galilee cleanup. All the garbage, all the plastic, all the cans, all the bottles, all the trash. Clean up. We need a big clean up in the inside also, not just on the outside. Immorality or any impurity or greed must not be even mentioned among you. No obscenity or silly talk or suggestive talk. How many people engage in suggestive talk? Which is out of place, but instead thanksgiving. And then I won't read it out loud for you, but you read it. There's a line in there about the perspective, the future perspective of the impure, the immoral, the greedy. Greedy. You know, we see that thing, we just have to have it. And we think that's going to make us happy. And you know what's called here? It's called idolatry. That means false worship. Because I'm putting my happiness as an image of the Almighty in some little creature. It could be 15,000 acres of land, it could be a penthouse in Manhattan, but it could also be just something very small, and I'm greedy for it. I'm greedy. My happiness depends on it. Well, it doesn't. And that's the mistake of idolatry. I need to change my thumb from this hand over to the other hand. Give me a break. That doesn't give me any happiness. It's going to cause me a lot of problems down the road. And people are interfering in their being so deeply. We cannot fall down the cliff, people. Idolatry is falling down the cliff. It's thinking there's something down there that I have to go and get, or I have to step out further here in the air and catch it, and I'm going to fall straight down. This is very strong talk, but it's very incredibly motivating talk. The psalm is so beautiful. Behave like God as his very dear children. You know, the last line of the reading, I missed it here, let me go back to it. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. You see, reflecting the light of the Lord. Now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light. No silly talk. Obviously a silly comment now and again is a little bit of a break. It's actually an act of charity sometimes. A little silly talk can break up a major tension. But to spend my life in silly talk, my waking hours and sleep in silly talk. Maybe there's a comedian that has a vocation to provide silly talk 24/7 because it's a very sacrificed role just to distract different people at different times in the world in different places, and they tune in. His vocation is to provide silly talk to give a break. But I cannot make my life out of silly talk. Behave like God as his very dear children. And silly talk is much less harmful, but it's harmful, than suggestive talk and then obscenity. We have a lot of cleanup to do, people. A lot of garbage around. And then if you put silly talk into yourself and obscenities from media, then what's going to come out when you speak? Mount of Beatitudes, blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the pure of heart. Blessed are the meek. You are the light of the world and the salt of the earth. People, you want to see the cave? It's a big one, but you just have to bear with me. It's going to be a rocky road. We're very close, like we're just about 10 yards, 12 yards away from the mouth, from the entrance. So I'll take you in there, but just understand that I have to go up here. So I have to be careful how I walk, because I don't want you to fall down. I didn't plan to do this today, to go to two caves one after another, but here we are. This is the way the cookie crumbled. And I don't expect to find ancient scrolls here, because I'm sure this cave has been visited by many folk, especially since the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in the caves of Qumran. Okay, so I'm on the safer part now, so you can relax, don't be worried. Keep your safety belt on, but don't be worried, just calm. There's more grip here in the ground, a little more solid. Go one step at a time. So we're coming into the neighbours. Hello there, anybody home? I think there's more space here than our cave. Doesn't look like anybody's been home for a while. The kettle isn't boiling for the tea. Actually, there's no kettle. But this is a deeper cave for sure. You know, and this is big enough to get some animals in here. You know, calves or lambs or sheep, so that the jackals wouldn't have dinner at night time with your sheep or your calves. So let me step it out to see what the distance is. Or I could do it here with the stick. You know, that's what I'll do. I'm going to open up my stick and measure it with the stick so you have an idea. So the stick is saying here, we're inside a cave, people, if anybody's joining us right now. So it's 135 max. So I'm setting it there. And I'm going to set this one similarly. Imagine they slipped when I was coming up. I put a lot of pressure on them. I didn't realize they'd do that. So yeah, okay, this is 135. It's definitely more than a meter. So you can see here, you can be witnesses. So this is more or less the mouth of the cave. That's 1, 2 to here, 3, 4, 5, and if we just go up here, but there's not much room, there's 6. So it's that's 9 meters, and then the width of it I can reach to here. So that's 1, then 2, and about a half a meter. So that's 3.5 meters here at the average width of the cave, because then it's much more over here. The maximum width here of the cave is 1. Let me get that again. 1. So 2. So 3. I found another way to do this. 4. So it's just a little over 4. Maybe even, actually we could probably even go in there further if we went down to the floor level. So it's almost 5 units. So that's 5. Was 135. So I miscalculated the other one. 135 by 5 is 6.5 meters in the widest part of the cave. And I calculated 1.5 instead of 135, so it's probably a meter shorter in the length than I told you. So there we are. So now you have explored another cave. We even took the measurements today of the neighbor's cave because they were away. And we're not greedy or covetous, so we allow them to keep their cave without letting that into our heart. But you can see what an extraordinary piece of real estate this is when you're out in a hot climate or you're attacked by animals. You have a lot of defense in here for your little flock, your family, and your harvest in bygone days. So we're going to go up this path here. I think it's pretty good. I'm not going to go down because it's too steep to go down. Let's see how the sun is doing. Sorry people, I'm just getting my grip here. So the Sea of Galilee is still there after that cave visit. That's Migdal. Migdal is the modern Magdala. So now the ground is much less steep. And I'm going to go up here and then I'll be able to cross over there to get back eventually. I'm better for going up steep slopes than down steep slopes. I'm sure this is a haunt for wild boar. Somebody really had a big joke on me. You remember when I talked about the wild boar and we had 10 of them? They actually ran up behind this hill in front of us, and I said, "Mama boar." And this lady said to me that was so crazy because the boar is the male. You don't have a mama boar, you have a sow. And I knew that very well as a farming boy, but I was so intrigued I just said mama boar, and everybody calls them wild boar, they don't call them wild sows. So I guess that's a bit of chauvinism in that field. So here we go, just getting some these branches out of my way here. There's big thorns above and small thorns below, but we'll get through here. Now, there you got the sun again. And now we're up on the top. So the cave is just below this bush here. We're on top of the cave. And we're on top of the other cave that we didn't see because I didn't want to go around that corner. Thank you all for joining us. It's a splendid morning. What a change to yesterday, which was totally clouded. It's amazing, you know. Clouds come and go. And that happens in our lives. Clouds come and go. So we shouldn't be too depressed about clouds, too anxious, too troubled. That too will pass. And we shouldn't be over exultant about the good things, because they too will pass. But the good things are harbingers of greater good things to come. They are the first down payment, if you will, of God's goodness to us. And there's more coming. Look at this view there. We see Tiberias there. And here you have the Sea of Galilee. It's a nice perspective. This is my third plan. My first plan was to go do the big hike, distance-wise, height-wise on Mount Arbel. Then the Instagram post came along, so I thought I'd do a low-lying hike. I'll show you the path exactly where I was going to go. That was my plan originally. You see this path down here? Well, you can't see it yet. I'll focus in a second when I get level ground. I was never at this spot either. Look where we are. And it keeps going like this all the way here. Look at the drop that's here. Now if you follow those rocks down below and keep going to the left, you're going to see a path that actually winds around from the bushes immediately here under us. Let me focus in there so you can see it well. You see the path here? One second, there are two different ones. The other one I'm looking for is actually over there. It's behind those 4 green bushes that are in the immediate foreground and beside the electric pole. And then it goes along there. And so I was planning to do the sunrise for you along there. It will be easy to walk. See the path over there now? Gaining a little height and curving around that hill over there, kind of parallel to the road. But here we are. Life has its twists and turns. What a wonderful sunrise, what a wonderful morning. Now I have to figure out how I'm going to go back, because I'm not going to go down here. Don't worry about that. I'll get up here and scope out the territory. So now we got a nice view of the Sea of Galilee extending way down below Tiberias, and we can take it all in here. Isn't that amazing? Amazing, amazing, amazing. There you have your beloved Magdala. Let's pray a lot for Lebanon and for Syria. They're really, really in terrible pain socially, civilly. People, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to head back up here a little bit, and then I'm going to cut along there. It's going to be about a good half-hour walk, and then come down on a more gentle slope further over there and back towards here to get out and across through the campsite here to Magdala. There you see the cliffs of Mount Arbel in the distance here. So we'll say goodbye. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. You can transform the world by being transformed yourself. And you can transform the world with prayer. Let's do that. Let's open up our heart to the Lord and spread joy and kindness and goodness and compassion everywhere we go. Thank you. God bless you. See you later.